Hey y'all, Eric Adcock, This Awkward Life. Today is Friday, February the 20th, 2026, and this is my attempt to do a podcast every day in the year 2026. So we are on our 47th day of doing a podcast every day. Now there is a little bit of a, I didn't start this until like the 5th of January, so there is 5 days that I didn't do one, but once I've made up my mind, we've done it. So if that cheapens it for you, I apologize, but we'll do something to catch up with. I may have to release 2 a day just to get back on target. We're going to do 365 podcast episodes this year, and I want everybody that sees my wife, Holly Jo, to beg her to get on the podcast with me. I've asked her for a lot of years to be on my podcast, and she won't do it. She's being kind of she just won't do it. So anyway, if you see her at church or out in the open, just or text her, say, hey, you need to be on the pod with your husband, and everything like that. Today was a pretty sad day in our little town. Mr. Brent Comans, who had run the local Texaco here ever since I've been here for almost 30 years. Passed away in his sleep, and he was very well respected, very nice man, and very young, just 60 years old. But I did not know him extremely well. A few times we had conversations together. He was extremely nice to me, and so much love and appreciation going out to him. But he did one thing, and I want to talk about it just for a few minutes, is that he closed his shop at dinner time on Wednesdays. Now, this was something that I grew up in as a kid in the 70s, that a lot of places closed at dinner time. And that was so that people could get off early, get ready for church, maybe finish up some business midweek. And it's really a forgotten thing, and no one really does that anymore. And I drove by. I have to pass this Texaco every day coming home, and I drove by, saw him. I think it was last Tuesday or Wednesday, it was this Tuesday or Wednesday, just walking around working, and my mind went to yeah, he'll be closing up, midday, and I just thought about how old fashioned that was, and a lot of times people say old fashioned in a bad way, but this really wasn't. It was a throwback to a different era, where a place would shut down midweek for people to do what they wanted to do. And of course, I think his shop was open on Saturday too. But the midweek thing I know helped a lot of people, and I really admired the fact that he did that. So I can remember, my grandparents talking about how difficult it was, or how they thought it was just a shame that the Piggly Wiggly would be open, started staying open on Thanksgiving, and people having to work on New Year's Eve and Christmas morning and all this. Things changed so quick. And but Mr. Brent always kept, as long as I knew him, Wednesday, Texaco would close, and people could go home and do what they needed to do, to go to church or wherever they wanted to. But that was what the spirit behind it was. And that's where I remember growing up. And so pray for his family and, of course, our town. To see, going forward without him. He's been there just forever. So don't take any days for granted. I know now why they said never go to bed angry or upset, because you just never do know. So pray for the Brent Comans family. And the streak continues. We're going to do it all this year. I appreciate y'all that listen and all that interact with me on the social media. Hope y'all have a great weekend. Tomorrow, Saturday. We'll see y'all. Bye.